Classic cartoons have been preserved and easily accessible for future generations, not only with reissues in theaters, but also with home video. Ever since the rise of Laserdisc, and especially VHS, classic cartoons have been available for people to watch at home whenever they want to, which is good. But the problem is that some people don't have enough money to buy these official VHS tapes of classic cartoons. So your only other option is these. Now, you might be asking, Drayton Almetrix Productions, what am I looking at? Well, these things are the covers of strange cartoon VHS tapes that are going to be the topic of this video. Welcome to the shady market of public domain cartoon tapes. During the 80s and maybe the 90s too, there were many VHS tapes sold by small companies featuring random cartoon shorts for dirt cheap. They had many cartoon characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Popeye, Porky Pig, Casper, and even Mickey Mouse, although his appearances on these tapes are pretty rare. The most notable thing about these tapes, other than the curse art on the covers, is that these tapes are not licensed by the people who own the characters. No Warner Bros. Executive was ever in the hand of Bugs Bunny 2. But even though these tapes were unauthorized, they were still legal to produce.
But how are they able to distribute stuff that isn't theirs? Isn't that illegal?
Well, that's because of a thing called the public domain. Now, some of you guys already know what it is, but for those who don't know, the public domain is where non-copyrighted works are available for anyone to use. This is either due to a work's copyright expiring, or its copyright not existing to begin with. This also applies to classic cartoons. For example, there are 1,000 Looney Tunes shorts, and over 100 of them have fallen to the public domain at some point. At least in America. And most of this is due to Warner Bros., 7 Arts, Sunset Productions, AAP, or some other company that owns some of these cartoons, either forgetting to renew the copyright for these shorts or not caring to renew them. This type of stuff also happened with shorts from Paramount, Universal, Van Buren, I guess, and many more. Hell, even Disney isn't safe from this type of stuff. I would also like to mention that any cartoons that were World War II propaganda, like Private Snafu or Any Bonds Today, are in the public domain as well. This is because the cartoons were for the government and not for the general public, so no copyright was needed. There's also many cartoons with racist stereotypes that are also in the public domain, so keep both of those things in mind. Anyways, years later, these classic cartoons will be in the hands of many random companies that will distribute these cartoons anywhere they can. And during the 80s, they would eventually find their way onto VHS. Alright, these covers are awful. Now, obviously, since these tapes were made by small companies in order to get a quick buck out of parents, they're gonna have a severe lack of quality control. Sometimes I question how a human being can even mess up a drawing of Porky Pig so badly. But despite that, there are some covers that actually look alright. But for every cover that looks terrible, there's 10 billion ones that look like this. This kind of quality control also applies to the VHS tapes themselves. The video quality can vary a lot. Sometimes the cartoons can look okay, and sometimes they're practically unwatchable. One thing to note is that a lot of companies use random stocks of tapes that have already had stuff on them, and just rewrite the tapes with whatever cartoon footage they need. But due to these companies being lazy and cheap, this could lead to random stuff appearing at the end of the tapes where they shouldn't be. Like, look at the end of this Cartoons Are Fun Superman tape. You will not believe what appears here. Yep. That's the start of a Thomas episode here. Somehow can never escape that guy. But this is pretty tame compared to other stuff you get at the end of these tapes. Because apparently, there have been many times where explicit material has appeared on these tapes that are literally marketed towards children. And by the way, this happens a lot. And oh, remember when I mentioned that there were many World War II propaganda cartoons that were in the public domain? Yeah, these cartoons actually appeared on these tapes. This also goes for the racist cartoons that were also in the public domain. And seeing all this in Rabbit's Do on an 80s VHS tape feels so wrong. Like, this is even, it's a product of its time thing. Like this is the freaking 80s. This isn't like the 1940s anymore. People know better in the 80s. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the VHS tapes themselves. Now let's get to some of the companies that sold this stuff. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single company involved in this market, but I am going to talk about the more notable ones, or at least the ones that I find interesting.
Kids Classics presents
Good Times Entertainment had a kids video division called Kids Classics with K. They release not only public domain stuff, but they also release licensed stuff, most notably shows from Deke Entertainment. Parents Approved Video, yes, that's their name, is a video distributor that not only released cartoon stuff, but also sports footage of all things. They've also released some rare or banned cartoons too, so that's cool. But you know what isn't cool? Their covers. Their covers are pretty infamous for looking bad. I think the worst one here is this. Like everything about this just looks so wrong. Like, how is this cover even approved, let alone by parents? Also, they're one of the companies that had some explicit material on their tapes. I forgot to mention that. That wasn't in the script, sorry. Moving on from that, we have VidTape Inc. and their notorious Cartoons Are Fun line of tapes. Yeah, they sure are. These tapes are also notorious for their kinda awful looking covers, but they're also bad for their video quality. They also got into a lawsuit involving child labor, so the next company is Kid Pix, which is a division of Amvest Video. Their cartoon library was more smaller than other companies, and their tapes were also pretty rare. The tapes had segments with Kid Pix's mascot, Happy Hamster. He comes from this Alvin the Chipmunks knockoff as dang called the Happy Hamsters, which were originally called the Happy Chipmunks, but they got sued by the owners of Alvin, so They had to change the name. I thought that was pretty funny. Who are from Audio Fidelity Records, which is a company the founder of Kid Pix purchased. The Happy Hamster appears at the beginning and end of a Kid Pix tape. And at the end, he will tell you about the Kid Pix Club, where you will write down a letter about yourself and give it to the company. And that's not even the worst part. Apparently, your personal information that you would put on your letter will be sent to places like Child Beauty Pitch. Oh no. They also got into a lawsuit involving unlicensed Disney cartoons. And that led to Kid Pix ceasing operation and Amvest Video changing their name. So overall, pretty bad company. But it's also not the last one we're going to talk about. Our last company is a bit more doozy. This is gonna be a bit longer, so I'm gonna go and make it short as possible. This is Philip Loro International Pictures Inc. Is it Loro? This is a British distribution company founded by Philip Loro. This company has many divisions. These divisions include Take-Two Plus, Krypton Force, Supertron Cartoon Videos, Screen Original with this ugly logo, Comic Tunes, and my personal favorite, Funhouse Video. They could never make me hate you, Funhouse Video. All of these divisions are kinda the same, with the only difference being the presentation of each of their tape series. With said presentation being done by Philip himself, apparently. Most of the art and animation in the presentation is just odd. Most of it is traced from the public domain cartoons, pretty sloppily I might add, and it's also done using computers, which is pretty cool, but at the same time you could tell how outdated it looks. Despite being crude, I love the style of these. There's a weird charm with these that I kinda like. You can tell there was some effort put into these tapes, especially with the custom tile cards and openings. One last thing I want to mention about Philip Loro is that Krypton Force actually did some computer games at the time. Cool. And that's all I want to say about Philip Loro and all the other companies and everything else, because right now this is the end of the video. Overall, I find these cartoon releases extremely fascinating. Are they ugly? Yes. Are they shady? Yeah. Do they have charm? Is it wrong to say yes? This public domain cartoon market kind of stopped as the 90s continued, but it somewhat lives on through VHS collecting and public domain cartoon DVDs, which is the same thing as cartoon VHSs but on a different format. There's also many public domain cartoon collections on certain streaming services, like Tubi. I could have gone into some other stuff like Japanese public domain releases, which actually have a wider selection of cartoons in the public domain due to different copyright laws. But that would make the video longer, so maybe I can make a separate video on those, who can tell. And that's it. The video's over. If you watched through the whole video, then thank you very much. And if you enjoyed the video, or if there's anything I got wrong in it, let me know in the comments down below. I made this video not only because I'm interested in the topic, but to also test if I can make a good video, say. And I have plenty of topics I want to cover, so expect way more videos like this in the future. I really want this video to do well so I could continue making stuff like this. Anyways, thanks for watching. I don't know how else to close this video, so Here's this random clip from a Kid Pix tape.
I'm late! I'm late! I'm always late! All of my friends are running to the theater, and I'm very late! Why, hello! I'm the Happy Hamster! And the host of the Hamster Theater! And I'm very late! Come on!